Let's be honest, how many times did you open up your phone today or reach for your phone without even thinking about it? Like your hands just did it whether you were wanting to or not. Whether it was to reach for social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, respond to a message that wasn't there, or check your email. Yeah, me too. And honestly, I am tired of the constant nudge to be on my phone. And so that is what this video is all about. I used to think that this was because I had a lack of discipline or a lack of self-control when it came to my phone. But what I've come to learn and realize is that these phones and social media apps are literally designed that way to keep you on, to keep you scrolling, to keep you on there for hours. So this is how we are breaking up with doom scrolling, mindless scrolling, and just spending so much time on social media. I made a video recently talking about my perspective on what social media and using our phone is doing to our brains. And I think that while social media can bring connection and it can be inspiring and there's just different ways and things that we can learn on social media, I also at the same time think that excessive social media / phone use is really negatively impacting our brains. I think that it leads to low mood. I think that it leads to negative mental health. And I do think that there needs to be some intervention around social media use, phone use, doom scrolling, and mindless scrolling. So let's talk about what's actually happening to the brain the longer you're on these apps. When you are scrolling on apps like YouTube or Instagram, looking at YouTube Shorts or TikTok, our brain is in constant search for dopamine hits, whether it's a video that we might like, whether it's someone talking about something that resonates exactly with us. The issue with apps like TikTok or Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts is that they are designed for endless scrolling. You can just scroll and scroll and scroll, and there is no bottom that you can hit. Every time you scroll, you're going to get a new video, and essentially there is no end point. And so our brain is always thinking that the next one could be better, the next one could be better, the next one could be better. And what happens here is that we're in this constant loop of searching for dopamine hits, and our brain is rewarded with cheap dopamine whenever we do find a video that matches exactly what we want to hear. So let's say you're hooked on personal finance. You're going to keep scrolling until you find a video that's talking about personal finance, and then as soon as you find that, you get a little dopamine hit and you continue scrolling, hoping that the next one will go ahead and address the topic that you're interested in. Let's say that you are interested in home decor or home design, and you're just scrolling through your TikTok feed and you see a girl with a house that you love and it looks beautifully decorated, and that brings you dopamine and that maybe makes you feel inspired as well. But you keep on scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, hoping that you can find another video that will speak to you in the same way, essentially leading to doom scrolling or mindless scrolling on social media. Essentially, it's like a slot machine. If you think about a casino, it just keeps us going and going and going, hoping for that next fix, hoping for that next hit. This level of unpredictability of not knowing what could be next is what keeps us hooked. And again, I don't think this is the best for self-comparison. You know, we feel a little bit less grateful whenever we see somebody else online who has something that we have or something that we want. It can lead to comparison, self-comparison, negative image, and just all these things that are harmful if not controlled. I am not against social media. I'm making video here on YouTube. I make TikToks. I'm on Instagram. So it's not against social media. It's just about having limits around it so that we are not impacting our brains long term from excessive social media use. And you know, there's just a little bit more mindfulness when it comes to approaching social media and phone usage in general. I also want to address why we feel drained and anxious after we've scrolled for so long on social media. And essentially every single second or minute we are fed new information, whether positive or negative, a new news story about what's happening in our world today, somebody's argument or hot take about influencers or social media or celebrities, or just random hot takes that you always see, whether you're seeing somebody with a perfect body and you start to feel bad about your own or about the amount or lack of amount of exercise that you've been doing, whether you're seeing something positive like a motivational speech, but instead of it feeling motivational, you start to feel guilt and shame for not doing the things that you know you should have been doing, whether it's seeing tragedy or whether you're even seeing things like comedy. Every time that we scroll, our brain is fed with new information, and I think this is really an overload on our nervous system. Our brain is having to process several cues and messages within seconds of each other, and it's just not enough time to process. Also, something that's really interesting is that our brain doesn't know the difference between what's real life and what's social media. So every time we're fed new information, it is also adding to that amount of things that our brain has to process. So I think that is why we can scroll on social media for hours, and even when we're laying down in a rested state, our brain can feel so wired and overwhelmed and burnt out from that amount of scrolling. Whether you're doing it for an hour or 3 hours at night, this is what is making us feel so overwhelmed and just stressed out after we've spent the night or the day scrolling through social media. I also want to talk about the subtle identity shift that happens the longer that we spend time on social media. I think one of the biggest impacts of increased social media use is that we start to lack our own opinions, our own ideas, our own likes and interests. So you see a video of somebody talking about a new pair of sandals that that they like, all of a sudden you really want them to, you think they're really cute. Would you have liked them or picked them out on your own, or do you like them because you saw them online? The same thing with a certain aesthetic of a home or a certain lifestyle or, a 5 a.m. routine. Are these things that you want to do because you truly want to do them intrinsically, or are they things that you want to do or things that you want to have because you're seeing other people have them online, you're seeing other people talk about these things online, and you now feel like that is also what you should be doing too? I think that it leads to subtle identity shifts. Like, are we liking things because we like them and we've always liked them, or are we liking things because we're seeing other people like them online? I think that when you're constantly consuming, you don't have time to be processing your own likes and opinions, and I think it also doesn't leave time for us to be bored. I think that being bored is a lost art in our time, in our society, because of social media. Whenever we do have a moment, whether we're waiting in line or we've gotten to the end of our workday or we're waiting for a friend, we fill that time with scrolling, and we just don't know how to be bored anymore. We don't know how to fill time with things that make us feel inspired or creative, and that leads to a lack of creativity, a lack of inspiration, rather than gaining inspiration or creativity from being online. With anything, there needs to be balance. So I'm not saying to delete all your social media profiles and to just go completely offline. Although if that is something that you want to do, feel free and power to you. I do think that there needs to be some balance though. So here's some ways that we can be a little bit more analog, a little bit more offline. The first thing that I've been doing is reading physical books, and there's really a key emphasis on physical here. I used to love reading phones. Reading phones is literally in my brain. But I used to love reading books on my phone or on my iPad, but what I've noticed is that it doesn't give me that detox or that detachment away from a phone screen, and it makes it very easy to just swipe out of the books app and go into a social media app or respond to a text message or check my email. So I've been reading physical books, and that has allowed me to really just detach and be in my own world. I've been loving fiction reads as well. I feel like that has just inspired my creativity. It has my brain thinking about a new world. I'm imagining what the characters are doing, what the scene looks like, and I think this has been game changer for me. I spend so much more time reading for hours than I do scrolling, and I love that, especially at night. So reading physical books can definitely be something that helps you be a little bit more analog, and I highly recommend. I have a goal of reading about 10 fiction books this year, which averages about 1 per month, and I'm already 3 books in, so I think that is a great sign. The next thing that I've been loving is journaling by hand. I use a 5-minute journal, and I love their journals. They're quick, they're easy, they're simple, they don't take much time at all, but this really just allows me to get offline again, not use my iPad, not use the pen on my iPad, but really just get a pen to paper and journal my thoughts, get them out of my head and onto paper. The next one, which I don't currently do this because I do bring my headphones. I love just putting on my headphones, noise cancellation or transparency mode, listening to a podcast, but you can try going for walks without your headphones, without music playing, and really just being mindful and aware of your surroundings and taking in all the sounds that you hear naturally, whether you do hear cars driving by, whether you do hear birds chirping, maybe kids are laughing in the neighborhood, like just really being aware of your surroundings, taking in nature, and using your 5 senses to really create that experience for you rather than filling it with a podcast or music. Again, this is something I'm working on because I do love my podcast walks, but always something that you can try. You can also try stretching with silence. This is a good one for at night or in the morning when you first wake up. Instead of grabbing your phone first thing in the morning, maybe you get out of bed and maybe you lay out your yoga mat in your room and you just do a little stretch routine to wake your body up. Or maybe before bed, you do a little stretch routine before you get to bed or before you do your shower or nighttime routine. I think this is just a great way to unplug, refresh your body, and get your mind away from the phone and really just be in tune with your body. I haven't tried this one yet, but another thing that people have been doing is bricking their phone. So I don't own a brick, but a brick is essentially where you can lock yourself out of your phone or out of certain apps so that you are not tempted to go on them. And I think this is more extreme, but definitely a cool way. And the people that I've seen use this have really been liking it. So let me know if you've used a brick before and if you do recommend it. What I've been doing is just deleting TikTok in particular off of my phone in the evenings to prevent me from doom scrolling at night. This has been so helpful for me because when the app is not there, I'm not as likely to go into the app store, type TikTok, re-download it, log in, and then start scrolling. Like, I'm not jumping through all of those hoops, especially in the evening. So I find that just by removing the app on my phone at night or just certain times of my day when I realize I'm clicking on it too much, that has been really helpful for me and helping me get a little bit more offline. So that's something that you can always try, is just removing the app from your phone completely, or at the very least you can remove the app from your home screen so that it takes a little bit more work to find it and you're not as tempted to go on and click on it. There's a creator I saw here on YouTube and I don't remember her name. I just recently subscribed to her channel, but she mentioned that she has a what do you call it, like a dopamine basket or like a hobbies basket, something like that she keeps in her living room, and it has just a bunch of little things in there that she can do to help her stay off of her phone. So whether it's like a knitting with yarn in there, whether you have books in there, whether you have Sudoku or puzzles in there, different things that you can do, different hands-on things that you can do to get you off of your phone. I think I love the idea of having a little hobbies basket because, again, when things are out in the open and they're easily accessible, you're more likely to engage in them rather than if everything is like tucked away, put away, like it might not come to your mind as easily. So maybe that's something that you could try, is just having a hobbies basket or a dopamine basket or an analog basket, whatever you want to call it, of different activities or hobbies that you might be able to do. The message here is that social media is not evil, but I do think that the apps are designed to keep us on there longer than is what is humanly healthy. And so just having some sort of procedures in place to keep you intentional about your social media usage is really important. The more aware we are of these things, the more that we can change them. I think it's powerful to use social media because you're choosing to go on there rather than doing it unintentionally or by habit. Having these things in place are going to help us be more mindful social media users and consumers, and that is ultimately my goal here. I just think that can be so much more nurturing for our minds, our brains. So I'm going to end by giving you a simple task, something that you can try as soon as tomorrow. When you wake up, I challenge you not to grab your phone first thing in the morning. Maybe you get up and stretch first for 3 to 5 minutes. Maybe you go to the bathroom and wash your face with cold water. Maybe you just get out of your room and make your morning coffee. Do something to avoid grabbing your phone first thing in the morning. And this is the quickest way that you can slowly start to break these habits that we might have. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be perfect. So give yourself grace where grace is needed. But I think just by slowly practicing these things in everyday life, it will get us closer to that analog life that we are all wanting and hoping for. If this video resonated with you, comment "I choose intention" in the comment box below. We are taking our brains back one by one, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.